On episode 205 of the 40 Plus Fitness podcast, we meet Guru Jagat and discuss her book, Invincible Living. You can find the full show notes for this episode at 40plusfitnesspodcast.com/205. Have you decided you're ready to make a change? To reclaim your health and fitness? The 40 Plus Fitness podcast is here for you. I'm your host, Alan Meisner. I'm an NSAM certified personal trainer with a specialization in corrective exercise and fitness nutrition. Let me be your coach as you find your way on your health and fitness journey. All right, let's go. Guru Jagat practices and teaches Kundalini Yoga. It's a very interesting style of yoga, but with her book, Invincible Living, she's really kind of brought a fresh, new look at yoga. Even though yoga is kind of an ancient wisdom, I think her approach to it is quite different. So I find this a very refreshing, a very cool book, and very practical. A lot of the things that I've seen aren't as practical as this. This is really something that you can incorporate into just about every day with very little practice or very little time. So with no further ado, I introduce Guru Jagat. So Guru Jagat, welcome to 40 Plus Fitness.
Thank you, Alan. Glad to be here.
It's interesting because I've now had I think you're my fourth person on about the whole yoga thing. And the first one was, I don't mean that in a bad way. I really don't. I just understand I'm coming from a very Western framework here. And
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. And that's what I like about your book. And that's what I was saying is the first one was kind of like an introduction. I knew the person. We kind of talked about what we wanted to accomplish here. And then the funny thing is I get your book, Invincible Living, which is available on Amazon. And it was like, wow, this is pretty cool because this is like a normal person having a conversation about yoga. Just like if you were going to sit there and talk to someone about it in a real way, it was just like, okay, I get it. I don't get all the names and the other things, and I'm going to mispronounce all of them across the course of this show, which even though we practiced beforehand, I promise I'll mispronounce every one of them. But that's kind of the whole point is that you don't have to get into so much the woo-woo. But that is a part of it. That can be a very important part of it if that's what you need in your life. But it's a lot more than that.
Yeah, I have to say, it means so much to me that it touched someone like you who comes from, like you're saying, a different type of background, a more Western type of background, a more kind of straight fitness. And that you're a man. It means a lot to me that you were able to get takeaways from the book, because that was really my intention is there's no barrier to entry. Everybody wants to feel better. Everybody needs more energy. And the statistics are saying 80 million people this year in 2017 want to try yoga, but they feel for one reason or another, they feel like they don't belong or they can't touch their toes or they are intimidated by some snotty 20-year-old behind the desk at a yoga center. And so I that was really my intention, was for someone like yourself that, has all sorts of skills and you're intelligent and you're healthy but you pick this up, you don't have a yoga background and you were able to get some takeaways. So that makes me really happy.
But Kundalini Yoga was not something I'd heard of. And I guess Kundalini is energy. Can you take a few minutes to kind of talk about what that's all about and how that what the background is? Because I guess I would put it in, it's the blue collar yoga. If I had to put a title on it.
I like that. I'm from West Virginia, so I'm not quite a coal miner's daughter, but I really do appreciate that. I want it to, that is my intention, that that it's not just for the bourgeois. This is really something that anyone can get an experience of in a very short amount of time. So Kundalini it's a fancy word. It's a word from kind of the languages of the East, from Sanskrit. and also Gurmukhi, which is one of the languages that a lot of the sound codes that I give in the book are from. And they're ancient languages that have a certain kind of harmonics and resonances that change your consciousness or change your brain chemistry just by moving your tongue and moving your lips and actually creating sound, which now Western science is proving a lot of what we've known in the kind of yogic science for thousands of years. So Kundalini is kind of a fancy word to just say that we have a bank account we have an IRA of energy that is our birthright and intelligence and creativity and happiness, really, that we just need to know how to access it. And so everything I give in the book are different ways to access kind of this wealth of energy that you have at literally your fingertips that will make you feel better. And so it's very practical.
Yeah. And that's what I liked about the book is, as you kind of go through I would just say kind of the core things that we struggle with, be it stress, be it sleep. It's just, there's a practice that you can work on that will help you improve those parts of your life.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So I'm going to focus on one that is hugely important to me because my wife deals with this. I love naps. You tell me to go to sleep and I'll just go lay down and go to sleep. I don't have a problem with that. And which I think I'm blessed. I do. The karmic gods have come down and said, okay, Alan, that's your superpower. When you want to sleep, you'll sleep. And it doesn't matter if you're stressed, doesn't matter what's going on. You're just going to sleep. And I know I'm completely blessed with that. But my wife is not. So this is a topic that, God, I hope she listens to this show. And I'll make sure that she does for this one because she doesn't listen to all of them. But, okay, for dealing with insomnia, Shabad Kira is this deep sleep mantra. I guess you call them, wait, I'm going to go back and say you call them mantras breathing. Can you take a second to talk about the mantras breathing and then kind of get into this particular one?
Yeah, a lot of times we put sound with breath or sound with movement as a way to kind of command the neurological sequencing of the brain and the motor, the parts of the brain that kind of get the body in motion. So there's a lot of things where we're either moving and making some sort of sound or we're breathing. And this is one where you're breathing and also kind of focusing on a sound so that the mind, it's like counting sheep, we're going to use satanama. You could use, 1 sheep, 2 sheep, 3 sheep, but for this exercise, we use satanama.
Okay. Can you walk us through that? Because there was a very breathing in, breathing out, and this, kind of going through that process. Could you talk about it a little bit?
Yeah. So this would be, okay, so say you're a little bit wired and you need to go to sleep. You could use it in that way, or maybe you had fallen asleep and you woke back up and you can't fall back to sleep.
That's my wife. That's my wife right there.
Yeah. So you could use it. And so you could sit right up in bed. And I mean, depending, maybe if you're a deep sleeper, then your wife could sit right up in bed. She won't disturb you.
She won't disturb me a bit unless she turns on her phone, which then it's all bets are off. But yeah.
But so you sit right up in bed or you're in bed and you're trying to kind of calm the nervous system. And what you'll do is just placing the hands in the lap, just comfortable, right hand over the left, the thumb tips touch, which kind of help the right and left brain hemispheres to just kind of calm down. And then we're going to focus the eyes at the tip of the nose, which is a little bit of a way to command the thoughts. So it's not a cross eye. It's just a gentle look down the tip of the nose. And then it'll take a minute to just get into this, but once you get it, it's super easy. And we're going to inhale 4 equal parts. So you inhale. And then while you do that, you're going to vibrate sa, ta, na, ma. And then you're going to hold the breath and you're going to do that 4 times. Satanama, 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 satanama. So you're holding the breath 4 rounds. And then you're going to exhale 2 strokes and mentally the sound Wahe Guru. 2 strokes. So I'll talk us through it. We'll do it together for a moment. So
I don't want to fall asleep while I'm sitting here, but
I'll wake back up. I'll wake you back up.
Yeah, if you're driving, be careful.
Don't try this while you're driving. So you're going to inhale 4 parts. Hold the breath and now mentally vibrate sa ta na ma, sa ta na ma, sa ta na ma, sa ta na ma. And then exhale 2 strokes. Wahe Guru. Inhale 4. Hold the breath. Sa ta na ma, sa ta na ma, sa ta na ma, sa ta na ma. Exhale 2 strokes. Wahe Guru. And again, inhale 4. Hold. Sa ta na ma, sa ta na ma, sa ta na ma, sa ta na ma. Exhale 2. Wahe Guru. And so you just keep doing that pattern, and it'll be a minute for you to like, okay, the brain organizes around it, but you just kind of get into the rhythm of it, and you do it for as many minutes as like just doing those 3 rounds. I can feel my nervous system relax. So it works pretty quickly.
So it's basically tying into your parasympathetic nervous system and getting you calm. And
yeah, most people, the insomnia thing is sympathetic nervous system dominance, which is not natural to our species, but has happened through kind of a lot of the fight or flight, and then all the kind of stimulus of the technological age. So where many people, especially type A people, but busy people, they're sympathetic dominant. And so this is a way to switch the nervous systems into parasympathetic dominance. And if you practice it and just give it a couple minutes every night, you'll notice that, some people have the experience where they actually fall asleep in the meditation. That's good. But you'll notice that the nervous system will start to kind of switch over to parasympathetic dominance. And that's what we're going for.
Now, I'm a big napper. I love naps. I typically nap for an entire sleep cycle, which, for me is roughly about an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Okay. It's a good nap.
But it is because like if I just go through a full sleep cycle and wake up when, it's done, then I'm good. And I feel pretty good about it. But you bring this little power nap thing, which a lot of people have talked about power naps. Your power nap is a little different. Could you take a minute to kind of talk about the power nap?
Yeah, so it's, if you've heard of a corpse pose or shavasana, is thrown around in lots of different types of yoga. This is a similar thing, but we do it on an 11-minute cycle. And 11 minutes is the chi cycle for the chi to kind of go through all the meridians and what we call these other pathways in the body called nadis. So in 11 minutes, that whole cycle goes and completes itself, and you get this just refreshment where some of us, you may not count in this, but if I take too long of a nap, I actually get groggier and grumpier than I was before. So he particularly said women should take short naps, like men can handle a little bit of a longer nap, but women should try to keep this kind of 11-minute cycle. But if you don't actually go to sleep, you fake going to sleep. That's another way to kind of push yourself into parasympathetic nervous system. And you're training your body. It's like athletes, the athletes have to train their bodies to turn on very powerfully and turn off very powerfully. So it's a similar kind of training. You're just training your body to turn off, go into parasympathetic whenever you need it to. And that's a very handy tool.
So this 11-minute nap, what's involved in doing that?
So you would just set your timer. And especially if you're type A, people like structure, and I understand that. You set your timer, and then you just, lie down. It doesn't need to be like a bed. It can be just on somewhere on the floor where it's not like particularly, I would lie down. We practice on sheepskins, but so you lie down somewhere that's just comfortable, and you lie on your back, and your palms can either be face up or like on your chest or whatever. And you start with a little bit of deep breath, but then you just let it all and let the kind of back of the eyes sink into the earth, and you let the system recalibrate. And your mind may be racing the whole time. So it's not. This is my message around meditative practice in general. It's a lie that like when you're meditating, somehow you're gonna quiet the mind. That's a bunch of bull. The mind is going to do what the mind does. So we don't care about that. We let the mind do what it does. And then you start to kind of get the breath more in command and allow the nervous system to rejuvenate, which will give you nervous system strength is what makes a successful person, in my opinion.
Okay. I get that. So I'm going to close this out. And it's so funny when I saw this in the book, I'm like, wow, this is awesome. Is the healthy, happy, holy breath. And it's so funny because I actually close out this show with have happy and healthy day. And so that was like when I saw it, I was like, joy, joy, joy. The thing I want to do is, can we take the 2 to 3 minutes that this practice takes and just kind of go through it again? And again, if you're driving, probably not the best thing to do. Get into a quiet place and let's do the rest of this. But can you walk us through that breath / meditation?
Absolutely. So you can be wherever, not driving, but you can be anywhere. You could be in your office and just closing the door, taking a moment, or waiting for your kids, picking up your kids at school. Like, it doesn't need to be any specific meditative pose. And we're going to use this mantra, healthy am I, happy am I, holy am I. And we tell ourselves so much negative talk and so much self-criticism all day long that just a couple minutes of putting a little bit more of a positive resonance into our psyche is very powerful. So you're going to inhale through the nose. Hold the breath, and we're going to say 3 times mentally, healthy am I, happy am I, holy am I, healthy am I, happy am I, holy am I, healthy am I, happy am I, holy am I. And then as we exhale, we're going to say it out loud together. Healthy am I, happy am I, holy am I. And then inhale. Hold the breath. And again, mentally, healthy am I, happy am I, holy am I, healthy am I, happy am I, holy am I, healthy am I, happy am I, holy am I. And as you exhale, healthy am I, happy am I, holy am I, healthy am I, happy am I, holy am I, healthy am I, happy am I, holy am I. Inhale. Hold the breath. Healthy am I, happy am I, holy am I, healthy am I, happy am I, holy am I, healthy am I, happy am I, holy am I. And as you exhale, healthy am I, happy am I, holy am I, healthy am I, happy am I, holy am I, healthy am I, happy am I, holy am I. And now inhale. And exhale. You can feel I don't even think we did 3 minutes. I think we did about 90 seconds, but are you feeling different?
Oh yeah. It's just one of those things where you connect with your breath, which is where you get your energy from, as you mentioned in the book. But it is kind of one of those things of you're now focusing on the positive and you're letting the negative go.
Yeah, and because there's so much negative kind of thoughts and behaviors and experiences that we're dealing with throughout the day, it just a little bit of the positive kind of reinforcement really does shift the whole kind of focus of the mind. So all of these little meditations and things, they're self-hypnosis practices, essentially. You're hypnotizing yourself into a different reality. Instead of I hate myself or I don't, like my job or I don't like whatever that is, you're hypnotizing yourself into a more positive reality.
And I'll take it from a Western perspective and basically say you can only think of one thing at a time. And if you're taking the time to think of good things, you're not thinking of bad things. It's just, and I think that's one of the things that is really, really compelling about this practice is that this is not like you said, bend yourself like a pretzel, show up at a club that, where they look down on you if you're not wearing the right yoga pants, Lululemon, whatever the brand is today, you're not there. This is something that you can just literally take from the book, Invincible Living, and learn to practice and incorporate in your life. So we just went over sleep, and there's stress. There's a ton of stuff in here. I think a lot of it is written, I want to say, towards women, but I do see a lot of opportunity for men, because you say endless beauty, but you could have just as soon said the same thing for men. Beautiful, endless handsomeness.
Yeah, it totally...
Because it was kind of the same thing.
It is. We all want to be vital into whatever chronology, and I think we don't have a lot of role models that way, unfortunately, in our society. So I think it's really on us as, this kind of generation, both, the generation before that have come after the baby boomers, Gen X and Gen Y and the millennials. Like, it's time to age in a different way and have vitality and have a clear mind more than anything into whatever whatever kind of chronology we want to. As yogis, we say that, we actually choose our last breath because you have so much command of the breath, you actually decide when you're going to die. So many of the yogis lived, 150, 200 years old, and that's fact. That's not mythology.
Well, the interesting thing of this is the more they do studies on the basics of parasympathetic, all this stuff. I mean, what they're finding in the Western medicine is they're really moving toward what Eastern medicine has taught for centuries, which is actually kind of compelling to just say, give it a shot. What do you have to lose? You spend 3 minutes here with us doing the happy, healthy, holy breath practice, maybe 90 seconds, and maybe you feel better. So, that a lot of that's in this book of just little things that you can pick up that, are going to make your life better. And that's what this is all about.
Yes, it is. It is. I'm very much a proof in the pudding type of person. It's like I don't need any kind of, fanciness and lexicon, even though I use obviously, some of the yogic terms and stuff. But my whole point is just like everybody needs to have a quick something that's not alcohol or marijuana or some sort of pharmaceutical. Not that, whatever you do is fine, but that is your own natural kind of resource.
And so that's what I like about this. It's kind of like I said, it's the blue collar yoga, for lack of a better word. And,
I love it. I love it. You're my favorite, Alan. I really love it. You don't even know. Like, girl from West Virginia. You're like breaking my heart.
Okay. Anyway, I had to say that again because again, this was just something that I felt was really compelling. It wasn't telling me I had to, do these extensive things. It was little things that were going to improve my life. And I really appreciate that. So if someone wanted to reach out to you, get the book, where would you like for me to send them?
Well, gurujagat.com, gurujagat.com. You can get it there. You can find it obviously on Amazon, Invincible Living. So either way.
Yes. And I'll have all that in the show notes. This is episode 205. So you can find that at 40plusfitnesspodcast.com/205.
And also, I was just going to say that I have an online platform called Rama TV that has a lot of free videos and lots of kind of online content. So if you get crazy and you want to do some practice with me online, there's lots of opportunity to do that as well.
Okay. Well, again, just make sure I have the links and I'll make sure all those are in the show notes.
Yes. Perfect.
Awesome. So again, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you. Bless you.
So before you go, I want to ask you to do two things. One for someone else and one for yourself. This was a really good episode, and I hope that you'll share it with someone through your social media, through conversations, through email, however. But do share this with someone. I think that a lot of folks will get value from this the way that you have. So again, please do share this. And now I want you to do something for yourself. I want you to go check out Surefire Results for Weight Loss. It's a program where I basically compiled all of the things that I typically tell my clients to do as far as base nutrition, base fitness to lose weight. And it's a very simple program, very simple lifestyle changes. It's 28 days, and I guarantee it's going to work for you. Just go to 40plusfitnesspodcast.com/surefire and check it out today. Next time on the 40 Plus Fitness Podcast, I'm going to share 11 foods you should not be eating. Until then, have a happy and healthy day.